AI tally is another the explanation of the crash.
We have the coffee cup. We may proceed. We have the matcha clamato juice. We may proceed. And we have some scotch. Okay, I'm starting half an hour earlier than the little reminder I had up. I want to get going with this. Welcome, folks. It's my night off. And I'm trying to stay awake for night shift and keep my schedule going and do an actual show if I can. And I got a lot to cover tonight. It's going to be way over the hour, I'm pretty sure. Fair use. I don't have the banner up, but it's a whole fair use evening, and just waiting for people to get in here. So I'm just going to head over to YouTube, and there we go. So I've got a bunch of links up at the start, and what I'll do is, as I'm going through, I'll be putting all the links in chat anyways. David, how you doing? Connecticut. Yeah, you're open. You're open late. Michael DePaul, how you doing? Am I working tonight? No, I got the night off, so I'm doing this. Susie, on Terrible. That's right. Yes, I remember when I got posted to Borden, Ontario, January 1st, 1999. 3.5 years of my life will never get back. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff there. It was not all bad. Hey, Carly. My 3.5 years in the military, that time in the military, there's only a couple high points. The rest was, oh my God. Anyway, so I'm going to get on to things here, folks. And as usual, again, so for now, until I can get to storage, I'm just tabs up. I hope I don't get frozen. I hope I think I have the phone in a good spot to get good internet. It's plugged in. Everything's plugged in. We're going with it. When I use a tab, I'll close it. In fact, right now, I'm going to close a couple tabs. Okay. Freezing some. It's actually, it's only -4 here right now. Next week, it's going to be -20s, -27s. So, okay, so there's lots going on. I'm going to cover an update on the van in Colona, an update on the crash, the plane crash on the Potomac. -17 where you are? Yeah. We're going to get that in a few days. We had some really cold stuff about a week ago. We got another shot coming. Okay, so I am going to start doing the screen shares, and yeah, so I have to do a screen share and then shut it off, then go to the next one, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to be as good as I'd like to do it, but at least I'll be able to cover it. And I'm going to be playing some stuff and yelling to the top of my lungs, fair use, and try and cut things off. I'm not going to play whole videos. There's a couple of them that are short enough that I will, but for the most part, no, I won't. I just want to get the gist of the message out, get the link so you can watch the video yourself and get all the information, and we'll go from there. But shit is happening. It almost should be a shit just got real, which is tomorrow. But this one is what it is. So share screen, here we go. Hitting the tab. Oh, Brave tab. Okay. Oh, I see what they've done to me. Oh. letting me see so many here? Just a second. Okay. Ah. Okay, just a second here. Let me try something else. Let's see if I pull the tab up, maybe that'll work. I think it's only pulling up the tabs that I've looked at recently. Maybe that's what's going on. So we'll just cancel that, and I'll try starting it again.
Yeah, most likely.
So let's just see if this works. Share screen. Brave tab. There we go. That worked. So that's what I have to do every time. So, okay. So this is Castanet news channel in Colona. It's a minute 27, so I'm going to play the whole thing. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use. Again, I won't be able to read chat while I have this up. Here we go.
The suspect who blocked the William R. Bennett Bridge on Monday morning with an ice cream truck, causing the closure of the bridge for over 10 hours, remains in hospital, according to police. The suspect has been identified as Roy Winter of Colona. Police confirmed that Winter has no physical injuries. Winter posted a lengthy manifesto on Facebook just before the incident, outlining a long-running dispute with the RCMP and making various allegations against the police and other community members. The RCMP responded by deploying both the Southeast District Emergency Response Team and the Explosive Disposal Unit after the contents of the van were deemed a significant public safety risk. However, police have not disclosed whether there was an actual bomb inside the truck. Corporal Michael Goche tells Castanet there were materials inside that required safety precautions to be taken. As of now, no charges have been laid. Police say they have yet to forward a report to Crown Counsel as investigators are still working on the incident and collecting the necessary evidence. Following the start of the incident, police were seen investigating a residence on Turai Road, believed to be Winter's home. A search of the property turned up no evidence posing a threat to public safety, according to police. Madison Reeve, Castanet News, Colona.
Okay, so there we go. Okay, so stop sharing. Now, in that video, I did notice there is burn marks on the van. Okay, so there was a fire set. They got it out, but there was still something in the van. They're saying explosives. That a significant danger. They went to his house, didn't find anything yet. He put out a manifesto, problems with the RCMP, yada yada. So that's not an ice cream truck that you would give ice cream to kids for. We need to find out, you know, maybe this guy worked for a company, he delivers to ice cream trucks. That van looks to me like one that you would deliver to stores or deliver to ice cream trucks or whatever. It's not, says no, I didn't see any windows on it for doing sales or anything like that. Could it be possibly that he put the stickers on the van just as a ruse? Don't know. Don't know. Okay, so here we're going to go with a different screen share. So that's the van in Colona. That news has been going on for a bit. Again, I think it's a false flag or something's going on. Okay, so I'm going to do another screen share. We're gonna cover what happened with the plane crash. I'm going to try and play as much of this as I can. I hope I don't get a strike for it. We'll pause it as we're going so that we can hopefully get around some of that stuff. And this is a channel that does very good analysis of different things with aviation. And he's had millions of views already in the last few hours since he posted this video. So hang on, I'm just going to catch up with chat. James, how you doing? Larry Schultz, hello. Pelosi loved her ice cream, so did Joe Biden. So yeah. All right. So hopefully this shows up on my. Yes, got it. Okay, here we go. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use. Okay. And again, the channel is Captain Steve. And it is analyzing the mid-air collision over the Potomac, detailed examination of ATC communications. And the link is in the chat. Here we go.
Here's what happened last night. I'm able to secure the actual audio from the incident over the Potomac last night. Let's listen in together.
Yeah, 789, contact Stone Park, good day. Okay. American 3130 for the final.
You're going to see a back and forth now between Reagan Tower and the various aircraft that they have lined up on approach into the airport. This happened at about 8:46 p.m. Last evening, and you can see there's several airplanes lined, typical coming in about that time of night at Reagan. They're talking to American Airlines 3130, which I think is number 2 for the runway. They're telling them to slow down to their final approach speed because they're separating everybody on the way in. It's going to turn out that American 3130 is a key player in what happens here.
Well, American 31.
Okay, so this is awesome. He does a really good job. He's got really good connections, and he's got a really good radar of everything that's happening. I'm not going to agree with his analysis completely, but again, this is someone who knows a lot about this stuff and is talking about it and showing us what's going on. And he's going off what he has to work with. So let's just let her go. And again, I can't see chat right now, folks. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use.
Pat 25, traffic just off the Wilson Bridge is CRJ.
Pat 25 is the helicopter that ran into the CRJ 700. It was a PSA flight. The flight number is 5342. It would go under the call sign Blue Streak 5342. You don't ever hear them talking to tower. They've already been cleared to land on runway 33. So they would come in on an approach on runway 1, and then they would kind of circle the land on runway 33. It's a little shorter runway, but they take some of the regional jets and they put them on that runway. Pat 25 is the Black Hawk helicopter that is just south of the Woodrow Bridge, and they're they've just taken off. They're airborne. The tower is saying to them, there's traffic. It's a CRJ. It's at 1,200 feet lined up for runway 33. Do you have that traffic? Pat 25 is going to call back and say yes.
It's 1,200 feet, start runway 33.
Pat 25 says, has the traffic in sight, request visual separation. What that means is that they're going to take responsibility for visual separation from that aircraft. What happened? Here's what I think happened. This is not the final word on it, but what I think happened was it was at night. There's several airplanes lined up. There is that Blue Streak 5342, which is a CRJ that they ran into. Right behind them, just a few miles, is American 3130. Everybody has their lights on as they're coming in. I believe the helicopter looked at the American 3130 and said, I've got the traffic in sight, and they never saw the airplane, the CRJ that was right next to them. That's my conjecture on what happens.
Again, this guy obviously has been in the air a lot. He's going to talk about it too. He's going to give you a comparison that most people can understand. It still does not explain everything. 2 things we haven't covered yet. First of all, prayers said for everyone, because everyone involved in this on the helicopter and on the plane passed away. They died. Okay. I think the number is 67 people between the 2 aircraft. This was a small regional jet and a Black Hawk helicopter. Apparently there was somebody or something important on that helicopter. Because that helicopter was performing a continuity of government exercise or operation, something. Okay.
Training.
They're saying it was a training mission. Again, usually when there's training missions, the call sign has something with it that lets you know that that is going on. And to have a training mission around a busy airport like this, and again, that helicopter only needed to be told to go down 100 feet or up 100 feet to avoid all this. There's channels covering it right now. Apparently, President Trump said something about, this is because of DEI hiring and all that. I mean, we'll find out.
Well, he didn't say it was because of.
Well, I don't know what's going on. That is being thrown around everywhere. So you're going to get all kinds of people jumping all over this. You're going to see a lot of clickbait out there. I'm just trying to find channels that have actual true information.
Visual separation. This separation proof. American 1630 Tower, runway 1 lock void, traffic throughout runway 33, dispatch 16 off funnel.
So this is typical stuff that's going on in a busy airport. They're lining somebody up to take off. They're saying, pay attention. I'm going to give you an immediate takeoff here. I've got traffic lining up for runway 33. That's the CRJ that got ran into. And he's on a 6-mile final. And it might be somebody even behind him, but they're lining everybody up to take off into land.
Whiskey 5307. Keep rolling down to November 47 today.
You can see at the bottom of your screen there, the CRJ, the Blue Streak 5342. They're beginning to now kind of come out a little bit to line up the runway to land on runway 33. They're not going to go right straight down the river. They got to come out a little bit wider and come in. But remember, PAT 25, which is up here, the helicopter at the middle of your screen, they've already said we accept responsibility for visual separation.
American 1630 1 star 32014, Duck 25, traffic 2 mile left base runway 33, no delay, runway 13 for B to
There's
take off.
American to take off.
Clear to take off, American 1630.
Here it comes.
CRJ in sight.
Now the tower is seeing what's happening and they're saying, do you have the CRJ in sight? Because you guys are getting kind of close. And the PAT 25, the helicopter says once again, yeah, and I'm asking for visual separation. Okay, the responsibility is on you then.
PAT 25, PAT 5 is CRJ.
PAT 25 has a aircraft in sight, request visual separation.
Okay, so PAT 25 says, has the aircraft in sight, request visual separation. I don't think they had these guys in sight. I think they had the airplane behind them in sight. That's why this is such a tragedy.
Here it is.
American 4782 by PAT, now for visual.
American 472, Oscar 1 star 32017.
So you hear somebody in the tower go, oh, and they see what just happened. As you can see in your screen here, the collision took place. The tower has seen it happen in real time. They're human beings are reacting just like you and I would. The helicopter ran into the CRJ. The CRJ's airspace was their airspace. In front of them, behind them, on both sides of them, it was a responsibility of the helicopter to maintain visual separation. They even told him a couple times, do you got him in sight? Do you got him in sight? He said, yep, got him in sight. I'm accepting responsibility for the separation. And I think just like when you're driving in a car and you look and you see a car behind the one that almost hit you, you see that car and you didn't see the one right here. And when you turn out in front, sometimes there's a collision. It's
He's got a good point there, and I'm going to play that again so people get an explanation, because it's really good to put it in so people can understand it the way he worded this.
Behind them, on both sides of them, it was a responsibility of the helicopter to maintain visual separation. They even told him a couple times, do you got him in sight? Do you got him in sight? He said, yep, got him in sight. I'm accepting responsibility for the separation. And I think just like when you're driving in a car and you look and you see a car behind the one that almost hit you, you see that car and you didn't see the one right here. And when you turn out in front, sometimes there's a collision. It's really tragic when this happens in an airplane. Again, it's been decades since there's been a mid-air collision in this country. This is such an unusual circumstance to take place. It's such a tragedy. It's been 12 years since there's been a fatality in a commercial airliner here in the United States. That's unprecedented. And that wasn't a mid-air collision. That was just an accident. This is a mid-air collision, and this hasn't happened in forever. So now we know.
Okay, I'm gonna that's enough, folks. We've got an analysis of what happened. We've got radio traffic. Like I said, the link is in chat, and we'll go from there. Catch up with chat. What's that link you just put in chat, Susie?
It's about sweaters, backward gray sweaters.
Okay.
Columns of the
Okay. Yeah.
change of the old guard or something.
Okay. Yeah, I'll grab that later. Just a second here. Hang on. Just gonna grab that.
Symbol of change.
Okay, I'm just making sure I see where it is, so I know I have that one separate because I have to watch it. Okay. All right, so more is going to come out on this in the next few days, and we need to definitely see what the hell is going on with this. I'm going to get into some other stuff because there's other news that we need to start connecting dots on, and I've got another one coming up here, which is again, it's a guy who knows what he's talking about, and it's an incident that happened. I think it's something we're going to see a lot of. And I think it's another thing we need to pay attention to. And he talks about this in his video that the agenda is out there to get him to shut down and quit doing this. So, okay. Here we go. Just got to find it. All right, here we go. Again, fair use, YouTube, fair use. And again, thanks to this channel. Link, I'm pretty sure the link to this is in chat. I'll add it to the chat anyway while we're here in a minute. Okay, here we go. So yeah, his channel is Statched Training, and 4 electric buses burn overnight, and Lion Electric demands videos removal. So fair use, YouTube, fair use. Here we go.
4 electric buses catch on fire overnight in Massachusetts. And now Lion Electric is demanding I remove 2 videos from my YouTube channel. A significant incident occurred in Wilbraham, Massachusetts, where 4 electric school buses were engulfed in flames while parked at a depot. The buses were fully involved when the Wilbraham Fire Department arrived around
Okay, so yeah, he's going to talk about it in the thing, but I'm just going to replay this for a second. He puts up a banner to explain who he is.
Significant incident occurred in Wilbraham, Massachusetts, where 4 electric
Battery
school buses
safety
were engulfed in
and
flames while parked at a depot. The
Firefighter.
buses were fully involved when the Wilbraham Fire Department arrived around 1:30 in the morning. Fortunately, no injuries were reported, but the fire did lead to delays for local schools as the buses were part of an active fleet. But there are some news outlets stating that these were new electric buses that weren't quite in service yet. So I'm not quite sure on the details there. The buses were manufactured by Bluebird and were in the process of charging at the time of the fire. Authorities stated they do not currently suspect foul play. However, the exact cause of the fire remains under investigation. I suspect this is an electrical issue. Electric bus makes sense, but it's either with the charging system or the high voltage batteries. One of the two initiated the fire. This fire likely started in a single bus, but once one bus is on fire, it's easy for those flames to spread quickly from vehicle to vehicle to vehicle. It's standard practice to park these vehicles in close quarters, often with minimal space between them. This setup maximizes the use of space, allowing for more buses to fit in one yard. For electric buses, it also makes sense because it also simplifies the installation of the charging infrastructure and helps to reduce cost. However, this practice comes with a significant risk. In the event of a fire, as we saw in this incident where the initial blaze quickly spread to the neighboring buses. Incidents like the one in Massachusetts aren't isolated. They highlight the very real challenges we face when it comes to electric vehicle safety.
Okay. I'm pretty sure this is where he's going to, yeah, he's going to get into it and explain what's going on. And we're going to talk, he's going to talk about some other instances that happened. And again, I think this is something we're going to see way more of, these electrical vehicle fires. We've already seen a ton of it already for several years. I think there's more coming.
That brings me to an email I recently received from Lion Electric, a bus manufacturer. Weeks ago, I reported on a fire in Ontario that involved Lion Electric. Another one a month before that in Quebec. Today, I'm addressing an email I received from Lion Electric requesting I remove 2 of my videos about those 2 incidents. First, I want to clarify who I am and the perspective I bring to these discussions. I'm not just some guy watching from the outside, speculating on these incidents. I have a background in the automotive industry where I spent 6 years researching, designing, and developing the battery box structures for electric vehicles. To do that, I needed a deep understanding of lithium-ion batteries and their failure modes. In addition, I have nearly 2 decades of experience in the fire service. These combined experiences give me a unique, informed perspective on incidents involving electric vehicles, especially when it comes to the safety and fire response. Could I call myself an expert? Sure, but I honestly don't believe true experts exist. There's always more to learn.
That's cool, right? That's awesome that he said that.
Yeah.
And so there we go. That's so one in Ontario, Canada, one in Quebec, Canada, and now one in Massachusetts. And this bus company is like, oh, take these down. You know, again. So we went by a bus fire last week, not sure if it was electric or not. Yeah. I think we're going to see more of this. I really do. I just got a feeling that that we are going to see this a lot. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to start erasing tabs as I use them. And we are going to get into this. I'm going to play this right from the start. I'm only going to play a few minutes of this because it's a 43-minute video. I'm not going to spend all the time on it. The link is in chat. I used to keep in touch with this guy, haven't for years, but I have a lot of respect for what he has to say and his point of view and everything. His name is Frank Vaughn. He's Canadian. We're going to get into some more of the stuff that more of the stuff that's going on in the world that we really need to pay attention to, and really get into chats about it. So hang on one sec. I'm just gonna chat right now. All right. Mr. Longsnatch. Okay. Somebody just changed their name. Yeah, so those are the ones he talked about, Susie, the bus fires. JD Brown, phones are blowing up people's pockets, not accidentally. Well, that phone thing has been going on for a while, JB. Or I guess it's J Brown. That kind of thing has been happening for a while. It's scary shit. And again, I think there's more of that coming. I might not be able to play Blue Apple's video because she blocked me years ago. I probably can't play it. If I can play it, I probably can't share it. And if I did share it, I know she'd come after me. So you've got the link in chat and people can go watch it. I'll watch it later. Okay. She's another one that's itchy and scratchy because she says she knows people on the Q team. She tried to introduce me to somebody once and he didn't know who I was. Turns out he's a CSIS agent. And when I called all of it out, something else happened in my life, and then her and I had a big falling out, and yada yada. Anyway, okay, so I will go on with the next video. And again, this is Frank Vaughn. Again, I'm only going to play just a few minutes at the start, and then we're going to talk about things. But I've been talking about it, and I'm going to continue talking about it. But here we go. Okay. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use. And Frank, thank you. And keep it up.
I'm Frank Vaughn. It is January 30th, 2025. 2 days until tariffs are dropped on Canada. First thing I want to say is I will not be trying to contact you for private communications via Telegram, WhatsApp, or any other thing. I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video, but anybody trying to contact you for private communication is a scammer. Today, I want to address, I've talked...
And man, oh man, have we been hit by scammers.
Yeah.
And it's just rampant. Okay? Rampant. You got to really be careful when you're getting in touch with people. And I know people have thought I'm a scammer when I've tried to contact them. So it's crazy shit. Anyway, here we go.
In previous videos about cartel control of Canada's ports and rampant crime in this country. Now understand, if you're new to this channel, and I hope that you are, stick with me all the way to the end. I've been talking about these themes in previous videos, but today we're going to put some serious meat on the bones so you understand how deeply troubled Canada actually is. Again, I would ask you not to tune out. Keep your eyes wide open so that some truth can be revealed here. Go watch my other videos. I talk about many of the themes we're going to discuss here, but today I want to highlight the fantastic journalism of one Stephen Punwasi, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, the co-founder of Better Dwelling. This is a thread. We're going to go through it. We're going to commentate on it. These are facts. This is the Canada that has been built over the last 10 years. I've often talked in a bipartisan way about how Canada has been sold out by every successive government for decades. But this piece cannot be laid on Stephen Harper or the previous governments. This is a new thing encouraged by the state. We'll talk about it as we go.
Yep, and that is true. Ever since Diefenbaker in the 50s, he served from 57 to 63. Ever since him, it's been globalism. And, but this Trudeau and everything that we've got now is just, it's not, you can't even say next level. It's way past that. So here we go.
Reading from the opening, Canada's public safety minister just said that less than 1% of U.S. fentanyl is from Canada, and ditto for illegal immigrants. Here's why that's a whopper of a lie. Warning, your opinion of Canada will irreversibly change. Now, we've talked about this before.
Yep.
The government, for whatever reason, is covering up the scale of the problem here in Canada. And in fact, right now, as I talked about yesterday, Doug Ford is campaigning on massive public spending at borrowed public spending because he doesn't actually have the money.
Yeah, we're going to see this come up in another video that I'm going to show you tonight too. They're printing money again. The inflation is going crazy. I haven't checked the dollar this morning. Oh, I did. I checked it earlier. The Canadian dollar opened at 67 cents American this morning. So I'll see where it opens tomorrow. He's talking about Premier Doug Ford in Ontario, who has just called a provincial election. And we've got this problem so much in Canada. So Christy Clark, who was going to run for the Liberals leadership, and she was the Liberal Premier in British Columbia a few years ago, is actually a Conservative. But she ran as a Liberal because there was no Conservative Party with anything that was going to do anything, so she jumped ship. We've seen it so many times. Doug Ford is a liberal, completely under control of globalism, completely under control of the cabal. And he's playing this Team Canada role and everything else. So let's let it play. Fair use, YouTube, fair use.
The Trudeau Liberals and the NDP are talking about a pandemic level spending program to compensate people for a trade war Canada intends to prosecute against the United States. And
yeah, they've said that. That's in official government documents, pandemic level spending. They're also bringing in universal income. Universal basic income, UBI, will be here when they come back to Parliament. They're going to introduce it. The pandemic, too, is going to happen. And all the signs are here.
as the public talks about what can of corn to buy, these people are rallying around smuggling and drug trafficking. That's the truth. Trump has made expressly clear what it is he is trying to achieve with Canada via these tariffs and what his problem actually is. And just to reiterate, Trump has made it very clear, these are the president's words, this tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Both Canada and Mexico have the absolute right and power to easily solve this long simmering problem. Now, the Canadian side is trying to make it about trade. The Canadian side is rallying around human and drug smuggling. And you need to keep this in mind. Why are they not just dealing with this problem and signaling to the United States they're dealing with this problem? Daniel Smith is the only person, along with Premier Moe coming in second, that are moving on this file and making it about what the president's talking about and trying to save Canada.
And again, they're both globalists. But again, this whole thing with Danielle Smith, I don't know if she's a double agent or what's going on. I mean, I do like a lot of the things that are being done. I still can't trust her. And I honestly, even Polyev, I'm 50-50 on. We'll let this play some more, and then I'll stop it and I'll come into chat. And again, you really do. I got the link in chat. I'm going to put it in chat again, and you need to watch this whole thing. And you need to start paying attention. Now, the problem with Frank, he does great stuff, and he's on every day. They're all 40-minute videos, and he talks a lot. He covers a lot, and he pretty much stays on point, but he just drags it out. But I'm going to play some other videos tonight, and this is all going to make sense because it's all happening.
The media and the politicians have inverted reality. They are rallying around this illegal activity. And again, please don't tune out. Let's go through this thread that I've been talking about. Because as much as I've put some meat on the bones in my previous video, this thread is dynamite. Stephen Punwowski, go check him out. Last year, the U.S. Border Services seized 19.6 pounds of fentanyl. In Canada, busts in Q4. A lab in BC was producing 4% that volume per year. A lab in Alberta produced 1% of that volume. In Canada, just these 4 busts in Q4 represented over 1 billion with a B of drug profits. Let's go through the imagery.
Okay, I'm going to stop it here. And I've known about this for a long time. So I'll just put it out there now. And again, it's not like I don't need the proof. And a lot of you folks who live in rural areas here in Canada and probably in the States as well, you'll know about some of this. And it's not just rural areas, it's small towns, it's big cities, but I'll get into it. So thank you, Frank. I appreciate it. And there we go. I'm going to hop into chat. Bad Bad echo. Sorry about that. I don't know where that would have come from. Just a second here. Make sure it's not this. Nope, it's not that. Okay. It could just be interference on my computer. Okay, so a lot of houses get rented, and they really do try to find farmhouses, rentals on acreages, especially more remote locations, places that are kind of hidden. They love it when the house is actually kind of hidden from the road, that kind of thing. But they'll do it in small towns. They'll rent a house in a small town. They'll rent a house in a big city. They turn them into drug labs. And it was glorified in that fucking TV series. But it's been happening for a long time. I'm talking like 35, 40 years. And that's just with fentanyl. Okay? And methamphetamine. I mean, there's other labs. Cocaine isn't just made in caves and warehouses in Colombia. All right? So that is going on, and the government's making money off of it, and they have been for a long time. And that's where we're at. I know. I'm going to touch on this one. And again, I am not going to play this whole video, but this one you absolutely have to watch. And again, I've got the link in chat, but I'm putting it in again. Here it is. And after my show is over, folks, no matter where you are in the world, please go watch this one. Take notes, write it down, and get ready, because I think something's going to happen. And I'm not lying. And I think why they're ramping up everything they are here in our country is because this, I don't think, again, it says at the end of this video, they can't stop what's happening. And I can tell you this, that I've met Doug Force. And I know people who know people. And I know Doug and I know some of the same people. And I can tell you this, and again, those of you who know me and been around me long enough know that, you know, I was in a certain place in intelligence, and I was offered to be on the Q team when they were doing the boards. I've still got connections, still got friends. I've been very quiet for a couple years now, and I haven't been going into the chat rooms. I've stayed the hell away from all of this on purpose until the right moment. So again, here we go. Fair use, fair use. Again, thank you, Doug and Steve and all the other guys that are Archie and everybody else that's responsible for this one. Canada, the Illusion. Oh, and Tim Stein, I don't know who he is, but okay. So I'm gonna kind of skip ahead a little bit so that we yeah, we'll play it from here. Again, I'm only going to play a couple of minutes. I might fast forward a little bit just to so you get an idea of the information that's in here. I have known about this information since about 2016. Fair use, YouTube.
Is it time to resist the control system? To unplug from the matrix and switch it off?
Yep, unplug from the matrix.
In 1759, at the Battle of the Plains of Abraham, Great Britain defeated France and renamed the colony to the province of Quebec. In 1776, the 13 British colonies to the south declared independence from Great Britain and formed the United States of America. In 1791, the Constitutional Act divided the province of Quebec into the provinces of Lower Canada and Upper Canada. In 1840, the Act of Union merged the colonies of Upper Canada and Lower Canada into the province of Canada. In 1864, at the Quebec Conference, delegates from each colony discussed the desire to form a federal union, while each province would retain its independence and autonomy under the umbrella of a constitutional monarchy. From 1861 to 1865, during the American Civil War between the Union, the North, and the Confederacy, the South, Great Britain built warships for the Confederacy, armed with British weapons. Many merchant ships of the Union were destroyed by the Confederate Army in Great Britain. When Lincoln won the war, he sought claims from Great Britain, but Great Britain refused. The Union even threatened to declare war and annex British North America in 1866.
Yeah, it almost happened again. Wait for it. We are still, to this day, paying taxes to the United States. What Trump is saying about the 51st state, you watch this whole video, you'll get it. And it might happen.
In 1866, John A. Macdonald, chairman of the delegates from the colonies, participated in finalizing the Kingdom of Canada Bill at the London Conference to draft the BNA Act. Great Britain had a dilemma: risk a possible war with the United States of America, pay reparations for the sinking of the Union's ships, grant the colonies in Canada self-governance. Queen Victoria needed a clever solution. Lord Thring's brilliant scheme: keep the Canadian colonies and make them pay the reparations to the United States of America through taxation, while deceiving the colonies into thinking that they govern themselves.
Let that one sink in. So again, fair use, YouTube, fair use. There's a lot in here. I'm going to skip ahead. And but you need to see this. So not exactly where I want it to be, but it's coming. Ah, here it is.
Queen Victoria died on January 22nd, 1901, from a brain hemorrhage while residing at Osborne House. Interestingly, during the same time as Guglielmo Marconi fired up a very powerful radio wave antenna just 12 miles away.
Yep, you heard it. Queen Victoria died on January 22nd, 1901, from a brain hemorrhage while residing at Osborne House. I don't know where that is. Somewhere in England, I guess. Interestingly, during the same time, Marconi fired up a very powerful radio wave antenna just 12 miles away. Was Queen Victoria the only one that died that day? We get into World War I, and then we had the Spanish flu. And that's only barely 20 years apart from this. Now, this point needs to be made. Listen carefully what you hear next.
With her death, the BNA Act died as well, due to the repeal of Section 2. Did this remove the British monarchy? No, because of the Letters Patent Revocation Act, 1878. Did this end the Dominion of Canada? No, because of the Letters Patent Revocation Act 1878 and the Interpretation Act 1889. Recall the definition of the term colony.
Now, that's in stuff that I skipped over. But again, please go watch this all the way through.
The Dominion of Canada and the British monarchy carried on under Edward VII.
Edward VII was not the heir to the throne. And even though Queen Victoria did a bunch of hinky shit, she actually did some unhinky shit at the end, and it was completely dishonored. We'll get into more of that, but yeah, this is scary shit.
More land was added via use to the Dominion of Canada between 1898 and 1905.
Yeah, Rupert's Land. In that first map that they showed, that one there that's in the corner, okay? If you look, there's Rupert's Land. See it? Okay? Upper Canada here. Lower Canada there. Rupert's Land is the rest of it. I'll try and find the exact spot I was at. Okay. Yeah. Again, these are corporations paying money for land.
Use to the Dominion of Canada between 1898 and 1905. In 1898, through the Yukon Territory Act. In 1905, through the Alberta Act. And in 1905, through the Saskatchewan Act.
In that map, the one I showed, and in another one that's in here, and what they don't talk about, back then, British Columbia was its own country. And at one time, British Columbia extended all the way down to here because British Columbia included what's known as Washington State and Oregon. But after the War of 1812, and they drew the border, British Columbia was paid handsomely to give those up, and on we go.
Who owned the land of the Dominion of Canada?
Corporations.
Did the land of the Dominion of Canada belong to the monarch? No. The Crown and Chancery held the title to all British lands, including the Dominion of Canada. The Crown and Chancery is the Department of Lands of Britain. It was established by the Privy Council. The Crown is a corporation soul. It represents the state in all its aspects. It can be used to refer to the office of the monarch or the monarchy as institutions. It can be used to refer to the rule of law or the functions of executive, legislative, and judicial governance.
Okay, again, I'm skipping around here on purpose because you really need to watch this, and what Doug and Tim and Steve and all these other people have done to put this all together. You really need to watch it and give them credence. So here we go. Now we're getting into 1931, and boy, oh boy.
What happened after the Statute of Westminster was passed? Did the people in each province hold constitutional conventions and seat a de jure government?
The Statute of Westminster was never actually passed. And no, they didn't do it because they didn't know to do it. And here's the ruse. So everything since then has been illegal.
Sadly, no. Russell Rogers Smith said in the 1940s. What does the future hold? Is Canada to become an armed camp, each at the other's throat? Or can we unite to create a federal union, mutually adopting a constitution? It is very likely that many people did not comprehend at the time what the Statute of Westminster had actually achieved. The Great Depression also impacted many people who were desperately looking for help. In addition, it is likely that many of the politicians at the time did also not comprehend what the passing of the Statute of Westminster really meant.
Okay. So here is the Queen and Trudeau signing the Charter of Rights and Freedoms in our new Constitution, which actually isn't. He brought a photocopy of the British North American Act. He didn't have the actual document. It's all a ruse. Everything's a ruse. And since then, since this moment you're seeing here in 1981 or 82, that's when it gets hinky. And what it will tell you in this video when you watch it, and again, I've been saying this for years, and it says it in the video. These guys have the actual documentation as well. The corporation owns the water. They own the shoreline of Canada and they own the internal waters. So whenever it's internal waters. Now it's a little more specific than that. It's by name. So internal waters. So a named body of water, a river or a lake that has a name. So when you dig a dugout or a pond, or even if you dig a swimming pool in your yard, you put in a water feature with some koi fish or whatever. In their interpretation, what they believe, as soon as you do that, they own it. Legally. It says internal waters. But when you read the actual document, it's internal waters, named bodies of water. So anyways, that's really what's going on. Yep. Canada's own website states that Canada is a de facto government. Yes, Jay Brown. Yes. Yes. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah. So, I've got some suspicions about some things and some people, and whether or not they're on our side or not. No, Cossetti, they do not own all the mineral rights in Canada. Well, they own the ones they've bought. I mean, it's all really complicated. Now, in order, okay, where I'm going with my last statement before I just answered Cossetti. So, in order for things to get through, and in order to fight the system, you have to play within the system. And so, for instance, we're all corporations, all of us, right? But I believe that the myth of Canada is a registered corporation, or something to do with it is. That has to do with them fighting within the system. What you will learn in that video is that you absolutely should not fight within the system. You should actually stay away from lawyers of the bar and stuff like that. So we're going to move on from here, but you really need to watch this all the way through. It's really important. It's really crazy shit, is to be honest. We're going to get into some stuff that's them coming after us personally a little bit more. And I will I'll share this next one. And again, I'm only going to play a few minutes off the front. I don't want to take away from these people that have done great videos. I can't remember if this one's in chat or not, so I'm going to put the link in chat right now. I think it is, but I'm just going to do it anyway. And here we go. There's the link. And I'm going to play it. So this is an American Homestead. It's a YouTube channel. Really like their stuff. And this is happening now. This is a lot of the stuff you're going to see coming up here is happening now. So it's yeah. Okay, here we go. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use.
Hey guys, welcome to the Homestead. So today we're going to talk about how Klaus Schwab is moving into Indiana. Not actually physically moving there, but moving into there in terms of ideas. He's spreading his cancer and his diseases well into Indiana. And we'll talk about this in the video. But before I get started on that, let me just explain how I got onto this trail. I have done a lot of videos in the past, okay, talking about these whole 15-minute city things and World Economic Forum policies and how they're doing all of these different things. And so I'm pretty easy to recognize these things when I see them again. And so I had a couple people contact me from this Washington County, Indiana. Apparently, I've got some viewers out there. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And they said, "Hey, have you seen this? This is very alarming. You've talked about this before on your channel. It's happening here." And yes, I have talked about this on my channel, and that's why I'm familiar with it. Many times, all over the country, these different communities are enacting these stupid policies. And so it's something to be alarmed about and to be aware of, so that if it comes to your county, you can act, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, and it's happening in Canada too, of course. There is a couple of stories where here in Alberta, people have gone to council meetings and demanded that this shit get stopped. And they've also been able to get some people fired, that it's been proven these people got these jobs in these counties and municipalities and cities and towns, etc., in order to spread the WEF agenda. And so it's happening where people are smart enough to stand up and do something. And again, what does that do? When you poke the bear, they poke back.
About that too also in this video. So these people contacted me. They sent me some information, sent me some bullet points. I got more familiar with the situation. We did a lot of research last night on this. And there was a video that was put out by a couple guys talking about this. I think one's like a pastor and one's like just a community member. Anyway, they're in this community and they're talking about this. But they mentioned a couple things that I found very interesting. The first thing that they mentioned, which kind of put me, the bloodhound on the scent of the trail, was how vague this zoning ordinance is that's being trying to be passed in Washington County. And basically, it's the file that I downloaded for this ordinance claims it's like a trash cleanup ordinance, which is great because we all want a clean community, don't we? We want to live in a clean environment. And so
word salad. He's gonna get into it. I'm only gonna play just a little bit more of this, and then I want you to go support his channel and watch the whole thing. But yeah, okay. This is happening. It's been happening for a long time. It's getting worse. They're ramping it up. They've got their people in place. They've created these boards. They've created these jobs, these positions to put these people in. And again, these are unelected bureaucrats who are making a lot of money. And they don't just get their salary. They get a little bit extra. Yep.
Who wouldn't be, who would be against a trash cleanup ordinance? Of course, everyone's going to jump on board with that. And so, but it's affecting a whole bunch of other things that you as homesteaders, absolutely, especially people who have land, who own land, are going to be interested in. So they make the point in their video that this is very vague, and there's not a lot of definitions about certain things, legal definitions about what things mean. And as you're going to talk about new laws, things need to be defined correctly. And they're not sure where this is coming from. In fact, they mentioned in the video some of the people who are pushing this really don't even know where this is all coming from and where the language comes from. So I started reading the document for myself. And all of a sudden I got this whiff. This stink in my nose. And I'm just, what's that smell? Oh, I know what that smell is. That smell is the World Economic Forum.
And there we go. So right on. Great channel, great guy, great information. And again, we're only watching a few minutes of it here. And I'm going to let him do his thing. I want you to watch it and support his channel. We'll go from there. Yeah. So hang on a sec here, folks. I'm just getting the next one ready. Yeah, this one, again, it's about what's going on. So I had this queued up. So I'll re-queue it. Hopefully I got it in the right place. Yeah, I have my mic on while the videos are playing. Yeah. Oh, that's why there's an echo. Ah, shit. Okay. Sorry, folks. I will fix that. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, what I'll do then is I will, hey, honey, have you got the headphones there? Oh, she's sleeping. Just a second. Hey, you get to look at Ringer while I'm, there's Ringer sleeping. Oh, hello, kittens. Yeah, meow. Oh, yeah, happy cats. Are you a happy cat? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so good. Oh, yeah. Oh, happy cat. Happy cat. Yeah. Meow, 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 meow. Okay. Yes, I woke Stella up. Sorry. So I'll put these on and hopefully it'll kill the echo. So let's try it. Okay, Susie, have a great night. Okay. Screen share. Okay, hang on, hold this up, wait. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. This is a local Alberta channel. This is Unacceptable Fringe. He's out of Calgary. He's a full-time YouTuber. He's monetized. Good for him. Right on. Puts a lot of good stuff out. And here's the link to this one. And okay, so we are sharing, and I'll hit play. Oh shit! No, I can't do this. You won't hear this because I've got the headphone on. Okay. Okay, I just won't talk. I'll pause it and then I'll talk about it afterwards. Okay, that's what I'll have to do. Here we go.
The Toronto Star, which is funny for them But there's an opinion coming around that Danielle Smith might get Trump's tariff exemption on oil and gas. The reason I wanted to cover this is while I believe this is not likely, wouldn't it be the ultimate slap in the face to Justin Trudeau and the federal parties and all the premiers who have taken this Team Canada approach if Donald Trump said, I'm putting tariffs on everything except Alberta's oil and gas because Danielle Smith actually knows how to talk with people and negotiate? I mean, Trump's request was that we fix our border.
Okay, so just a sec. I'm going back to chat for a second. Is there still an echo? Can you just let me know if there's still an echo? Because if there is, I don't know what to do about it. So we'll just cover everything and go through it best we can. But if there's still an echo, okay, good, right on. Thank you. So only when I talk, there's an echo. Is that right? Yes or no, please? Oh, hey, Jordan. Awaken Trillium, hello. Okay, all right, good. Okay, right on. Let's continue. I'm going to play a few minutes of his. Again, he covers pretty much Alberta stuff. He's a huge fan of Danielle Smith, but he does call her out from time to time. But again, this whole tariff thing. So I don't know if he gets into it. I haven't watched his whole video. I have covered this in other shows. So Danielle Smith has created a task force within the Alberta Sheriff's Department, which is basically our provincial police force kind of thing. And it's a border interdiction team. And they have helicopters, they have drones, they have all kinds of stuff, okay? So she talked to Trudeau within the last couple of days because 2 Black Hawk helicopters got leased directly from Sikorsky by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and were being used along the Manitoba border to try and stop all this crossing of the border. She put in a request, and one of them or another one, I'm not sure what it is, but now we have a Black Hawk on the Alberta border patrolling. So she's doing all these things that the rest of Canada is not, to, because it should be. She did this before she went to see Trump. She did this before all of this came up, before the American election. This was put in the summer. The border thing. And so we'll let him talk a little bit more.
Stop migrants and we stop illegal substances from being manufactured and coming into our country and being dispersed amongst the country. Not one single premier, aside from Danielle Smith, have I heard about talking about actually securing the border. Ever since this was mentioned, it's always been, well, we're prepared to retaliate. We're going to go back to Donald Trump and we're going to fight these tariffs. There's been no mention of securing the border.
He's wrong. The Manitoba premier came out a couple of days ago. I reported on it. And he got the helicopters for the RCMP and the Border Services Agency, and they're doing the Manitoba border. Anyway, so again, I will stop sharing that. I'll put the link in chat, and you can go watch that one. And we'll go from there. Okay, so get the next one ready. Okay, yeah. I'm actually not going to play any of this one. I'm going to show it. I'm going to put the link in chat. It should already be in chat as well up at the top. This one I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk deeply about it. And actually, you know what? I'll go to there and see if that's where I want to be. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do the screen share thing. Go Grease and Grit, hello. Well, we do need a border wall, Awaken Trillium. We do. We need a border wall, Canada to the States. That it just should happen. Canada is still owned by the States. No. But it owes money to the States. That video with the Canada the Illusion, that'll cover it. Okay, so I'm going to try doing a screen share here now, folks, and I'll let it play. Hopefully he gets into it a little bit. I'm going to talk about it instead of watching the whole video. And by the way, Jimmy Dore covered this. I don't know if I have that one up. Just a second. Just a second. No, I don't have it up. It doesn't matter. But Jimmy Dore is covering this story now, the one I'm about to show you. It's going worldwide. It's getting the attention it should have. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use. Thank you, David. Again, good work. Viva Fry. I haven't talked to him. There was an opportunity a couple years ago when his channel was getting started and everything was going. There was an opportunity for us to chat. It just didn't happen. Anyways, I'm going to let this play, and hopefully I've got it at a good spot.
So that it's symmetrical. Ladies, how does this go? The battle. I know a bit about what's going on in this story, but I think you're going to need to fill everybody in, and I don't know who the best is going to be to fill it in. Katie, you are the daughter of the owners of your parents on the farm.
My mom and her business partner both, they own Universal Ostrich Farms, and my mom started Universal Ostrich Farms, Karen Esperson, and we obviously, for as long as I've been alive, I guess I'm 35 years of my years I've been alive. I've been a part of the ostriches' lives, and they've been part of ours.
Where is the farm located, or where was it located? Because they're my temporary farm right now, where they're being held.
No, they're being held here in their own home, captive. They're as safe as can be in their own quarantined area. They have a beautiful pen that is wildlife fenced. So that's where they are, and that's where they have been, and they haven't been moved. We are in Edgewood, British Columbia. We're about an hour and a half away from any major city. And we live in a small town, Edgewood, which is about a population of 600 people, actually.
Okay, and this ostrich farm it has been in the family for a while. Was it originally meat farming, or what was the purpose of the farm originally?
So originally, my grandfather and my grandmother actually started getting into them, and they were in Alberta. And my grandfather, Esperson, was the president of the Alberta Ostrich Association at the time, years ago. And they came in and they were kind of a novelty. Everybody got into these amazing fancy ostriches, and they were overpriced at that time, and they just were something really cool, but there was no market for them. So farms quickly learned, we have all these really expensive ostriches, but we don't know how to make any money off them. So a lot of farms at that time started to just fold and get out of it. And my mom, when my grandparents got out of it, my mom got into it, and my mom and dad at the time. And my mom, so she's just spearheaded and been a pioneer in the industry for over the years. At the beginning, it was about learning them, education on their hatching, creating an industry, and the industry was kind of around meat. So it was going to be a healthier meat. It's going to be healthier for the planet. They are very lean, red meat, and it was all about that. And then we started to change our focus, though, and see the amazing abilities that this ostrich has to do really good things for humanity by just using their eggs, and things that we could do with their amazing natural immune system and their ability to conquer environmental challenges that they're faced with. And so that has been the main focus of the farm for the last 3 years, is promoting natural immunity. And really, we're all born with antibodies, And these ostrich have been on the earth for 21 million years, is the latest Struthio fossil found. And so you can imagine that these guys have stayed on this planet for a long time for a given reason. So that's our main focus now out here, is just the robust immune system.
And that's where they went wrong. So again, I just put the link in chat. It's in there a couple times. I'm going to stop sharing. I really don't want to get hit with this one. I really want you to go watch this because David does a really good job. The two ladies explain everything, go through it. I'm going to hit some points on this, folks, after watching it. Hi, Cola. Hey, Rip Curl. Did you take your Adderall? Okay, here's the thing, folks. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is an evil fucking place. They are put into place specifically to screw us over. I had to deal with them with my company, with the charcoal company, because of my inoculant, my liquid fertilizer, because when Trudeau came in, he took the control of fertilizers away from Agriculture Canada and gave it to the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. Now, they're kind of linked anyway, but a lot of the actual experts and scientists did not go from Agriculture Canada over to CFIA, to give you a hint at some of the shit I had to deal with. Luckily, I was able to find a workaround, and I'm exempt from a lot of their crap. Here's how ridiculous this is, and you'll see this when you watch their video, when you watch Viva Fry's video. So CFIA came in, and they took what's that PSR or P, you know, the COVID test bullshit that doesn't work? That's what they did to 2 dead birds that were on the ground that had been there for a couple of weeks. Okay? They took those tests. They came back, and nowhere near the amount of time it would take for these tests to be put through. They got back to the family, and they said, you have to kill all the birds. And you can't appeal this, blah, blah, blah. And then they started threatening them before they even got off the phone with them. Then, the demands of how to do this is so ridiculous. They expect these people to dig holes, get this, 9 meters deep. Well, that's 30 feet. Doesn't matter where you go, especially in British Columbia or in the Canadian Shield, but in British Columbia, you don't have to go down too far till you're into gravel or rock. And I've run hoe. I've run track hoe. I've done a lot of construction. I've done a lot of things. You're not going to find a machine that can dig 30 feet deep. It's millions of dollars for this operation. So they're putting demands on these people that are impossible because PCR tests, that's it. Okay? So they've told these people, if you don't have this done by the 1st of February, we're coming in with an independent company, a contractor, and we're going to do it, and then we're coming after you for that cost. So that's what's happening to these people. The government is making sure these people cannot, absolutely cannot, physically, emotionally, intellectually, or actually meet the demands. And then they're going to come in with ridiculous equipment. They're not going 30 feet deep. They might dig one if people are watching, however the fuck they're going to do it. You'd have to use dynamite and blast it. Okay? And they're only allowing so much tonnage per hole. So these people have done the calculation. They'll have to dig 60 of these holes on their land. And then they make a good point in here. What about the groundwater now? If we're going down that far. Stuff like that, right? So it's all ridiculous. It's all bullshit. And it's happening. And in 2 days, because today, well, no, tomorrow, because now we're into the 31st. So those people, and oh, again, it's evil what's going on. It's absolutely evil. I've been praying and hoping and praying that they can they can get a court injunction and stop this, or at least delay it long enough to do something about it. Cola wants to know, are you worried about AI or mRNA viruses? Yeah, we are. We've been talking about it. Again, that whole thing with Trump, I've covered it in other videos. I'm going to cover it in another one coming up. But just shortly, is that all the money is coming from the tech giants. It's not coming from the government. Elon came out right away and said, hey, we don't have the money. There's other things behind this. I think they're trying to expose a bunch of things. I also think that, and this goes for many, 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 many things, not just AI and not just things I'm covering tonight, but just a lot that we're going to see in the Trump administration. This is also going to explain why Tulsi is going to use FISA, why she's backtracked on FISA and flip-flopped, okay? The only way to beat these people, you have all the tools they've put in place to use against us are going to get used against them, and they know it. I played the video before from American Homestead about chickens, and we know what they're doing, and we got the bird flu, and now this, and now they've called these ostriches poultry. So they're putting these ostriches in the same category as a chicken or a turkey, and no, DNA-wise, you can't do that, okay? Anyways, they don't care. It doesn't matter. The main reason they are shutting these people down and killing these birds is because these people said, hey, we've got herd immunity. Let's study it. Let's get scientists in on this. Let's get veterinarians in on this. And that's what they've been doing, and that's why they're getting shut down and they're getting attacked the way they are. So, yeah. Okay, so on with the next one. But we really got to watch that one. And it's just unreal. Okay, so the next one is from Jeremy at the quartering. And it's just, again, it's sidetracking a bit, but not really. And again, you need to go watch this one because they're putting more rules in place on YouTube and other social media. Even X and Elon has signed off on this. And we must have questions, right? So again, I'm 50-50 on Trump. I'm 50-50 on Polyev. I'm 50-50 on Elon. I'm 50-50 on Danielle Smith. Well, I'm less than 50-50 on Danielle Smith. Shit's happening, folks. Traveler, how you doing? The big guy. Yeah, you want to see 25 pounds of get the fuck out of my way?
Traveler, what you doing? Yeah, that's a big guy. You want out? You want to go kill something? Yeah? You've eaten all the food in the bowls, haven't you? Yeah. You care? No, you don't care.
Okay. Uh-oh, what happened there? Did you just unplug my computer again, you little shit? Oh. He doesn't even look for cords. Anyway, yeah, he's a big boy. He's 25 pounds. And no fat. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like a sec here. I think I already put this in chat, but I'm going to put it in again. And we're going to watch it. Here we go with the screen share. It's very short. I'm not going to play the whole thing again. I like Jeremy. I like his channel. I just find, in my opinion, he doesn't always explain everything. And I think it's because he has Patreon and he wants you to go to Patreon and get the full story. Okay. And so I think that's why his videos on YouTube end up the way they do. Not unplug my computer again, you bastard. Yeah, you want out? Yeah, okay. Just give me a sec. Ugh. All right, go.
Kill a coyote.
He actually has fought a coyote. I watched it happen. I'm not lying. He's fought skunks too, like big ones. He just doesn't care. Hey, Turning Guns, how you doing? Oh, Cola, why did I change my mind on Trump? It goes back to warp speed and some of the things in the first term. Look, I've been studying Trump for a long time, like back when he was a businessman and everything else. And I've known a few things about him. And, you know, he's a businessman. And I think he is a good guy. I think he really is trying. But there's something else there. There's something just tells me that just don't throw all your eggs in one basket and don't. Again, my thing too, folks, I don't talk a whole lot about God and religion, but no false idols. And Trump has been made an idol, really. And that shouldn't be. I mean, I know he's our best hope for the United States and then the rest of the world, but yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's why. Okay, so I will do a screen share here now, folks. I'm just gonna play like a couple of minutes of this, and then we're gonna get going. Look, a lot of the stuff that we have to do in our world to save our world, we have to do, and it's getting very, very close to the point where it's going to happen. That's all I'm going to say about that. No, I'm not starting a militia or anything stupid like that. Okay, here we go. Jeremy, thank you. I hope I have this at the right spot.
TikTok was for freedom of speech. Also, they must be transparent about hate speech detection and reduction, and to permit third-party monitors to evaluate how the platform evaluates their hate speech notices. The code of conduct, which subjects signatories to an annual audit with regard to compliance, potentially showcases the EU's effort to regulate online spaces while maintaining transparency. They have no right.
Okay, so he's talking about the EU. I'm going to take this right to the start again, because it's happening everywhere, folks. They're doing this specific laws in specific countries with this to get around the Section 230. Because okay, it's going to happen. Trump is going to take Section 230 away from the tech giants, from YouTube and social media. Okay, so they're going to be accountable. So a bunch of this shit's being put in before that. So again, I don't know if this is a workaround to beat them somehow or what, but this is what's happening, and I think YouTube is going to get worse in the next few months before it gets better.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. It's another day and another bad bit of news for your freedom of speech online. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Remember when TikTok was saying, oh, America, we want your First Amendment speech is so important to us. Oh, First Amendment, so good. You cannot ban TikTok. Well, TikTok just voluntarily signed a new commitment to censor all of its users. I'm not surprised that YouTube, Instagram, and X, well, actually, and Facebook. I am surprised about X. Now, this is a wild story. And of course, Trump's only been president for 1 week. Hopefully this gets looked at immediately. But let's check this out. First, a huge shout out to this video sponsor, Aura. Think about a time when a company you trusted announced a data leak. Looks for any of your personal information. Personal information has been voluntary commitment to tackle hate speech. Now, of course, hate speech is not a real thing. It's a made-up word to help people justify censorship. They signed a voluntary commitment. So I'm going to have a question for Elon Musk about this, by the way, that is geared towards making efforts to prevent illegal hate speech. Sorry, UK. On their platforms in the EU. The updated agreement requires.
So again, I'm going to stop it there, and I'll let you look into that and watch it, because it's kind of taken away from what I wanted to do. But again, they are putting down every measure they can against us. And things are gonna just keep getting worse and worse and worse, and that's just the way it is. And okay, so hang on, I'm just catching up with chat here, folks. Give me a second. Oh fuck! I hope I'm not froze. I hope I'm not froze. Okay. Yeah, Cola, it seems like everybody that used to like him is getting iffy about him these days. It's just that we have to be careful. We really can't let ourselves get knocked off a rock. We can't just run out and say, we're winning, because these wins are small and we got to keep going. Okay, good. I'm not frozen. Okay. They use EU laws in Canada. Well, again, a lot of the shit that happens in the EU, they try to put through. A lot of the things that go on, Australia, all the Five Eyes, all the Western world, they'll start it in Canada. They'll try it here first to see what happens, what works. Happened in COVID too, folks. Don't think it didn't. And again, now they're going after hate crimes, hate speech, and blah blah. They need their agenda. They need their agenda. Okay, so I'm going to throw this one in. This is more just for Canadians, especially farmers, people in the rural areas. But the rest of the world needs to know about this too, because a lot of your stores are being taken away from you too. And this news came out here not too long ago. And on payday, Stella and I are going to try and take advantage of this, because PV Mart to shut down all Canadian stores. And PV Mart just bought Ace Hardware, who is one of the retailers I have contracts with for my product. So I don't know what's going on with that. The only thing is Ace Hardwares are independent. There's only a few of them. But PV Mart did buy them. PV Mart's a big deal. They're all across Canada. They're very impressive stores, really good deals, mostly aimed at rural people, farmers, people that have chickens and horses and blah, blah, blah. So, and again, I'll credit where credit is due. This is Retail Insider. And I'm pretty sure, again, that this link is in chat. But I will make sure it's in chat right now. And there is a video. We're not going to watch it, but we're just going to go back at this one, and we're going to scroll down. And again, this is really bad news. Really, really bad news for those of us homesteaders and preppers and all that kind of stuff. They're talking about financial struggles, but I can't see it. So here we go. You walk into a PV Mart now, store closing, entire store up to 30% off. That's going to increase to 50% next month. PV Industries has secured $155 million financial package from Gordon Brothers. The package includes $105 million revolving credit facility, $30 million term loan, $20 million. So they got this thing to keep going. They got these millions and millions of dollars to keep going, and now they're shutting down. So is this a case of take the money and run? I don't know. It's bad news. Like, this really sucks. Shop at PV Mart a lot. Again, they're part of communities. A lot of these are independently managed and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's not good, folks. This store was started in Western Canada. Started in the original store, I think, is in Red Deer, not far from where I live. This is a big deal, folks. You've seen other chains going down in the States and other ones in Canada, losing our shopping, losing our ability to get what we need for to be self-sufficient. And yeah, it was really sudden, Grandma. Well, all Amazon in Quebec are shutting down and leaving. Again, folks, almost all of the Amazon distribution for North America starts in Canada. Comes from China and the other countries. And it comes to Edmonton, I think Regina, Mississauga, Ontario, and then 2 places in Quebec. From there, it gets sorted and then shipped out. And they get things in their warehouse, and then they head it out. And that was why they can do it so fast, is because they're set up at airports, and they have their own planes. I mean, it's massive. Anyway, losing PV Mart sucks. It really, really sucks. So just a sec. Okay, next one again comes back to the subject of what they're doing, what they're getting away with, and how they're doing it. Again, it's another channel that I really support, and I do want to get a hold of Dean. I really, really do. He's the next province over in Saskatchewan. Arcopia. Okay. It's actually, he's getting a fairly good following on YouTube and around the world. And again, I'm not going to play his whole video. Him and I completely, absolutely 100% think alike. And so thank you to Dean for doing your work and everything. Again, I'm gonna. Again, this is how they're nudging us. This is how they're hitting us with bullshit to get their agenda across, folks. This is how they're doing it. Okay, so screen share. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use. Here we go. Give her my man, Dean.
So Toronto declares a food insecurity emergency, with 1 in 10 people in Toronto using food banks. Also, 27 cases of scurvy in the province where I live, and doctors told to watch out for scurvy all across Canada. I'm going to try to be not insensitive on this topic, at the same time speak relatively freely and rip my government and the people in my country a new hole. So all of this is mainstream news. This is your CBC in Canada. This is Yahoo Finance. This is all across mainstream media. Toronto declares food insecurity and emergency. More than 1 in 10 Torontarians face hunger as crisis grows beyond capacity. In a historic move, Toronto City Council has declared food insecurity and emergency as the city faces the rising demand for food assistance. The problem is we need more socialism and less capitalism. So the government has to steal money from the few people left that produce, or steal money from the collective and create higher inflation. That's the solution to this, right? Food banks in Toronto saw 3.49 million visits in 2024, a staggering increase from under 1 million visits pre-pandemic in 2019. Nothing to do specifically with COVID other than the inflation and the social assistance that they printed a whole bunch of money. Infrastructure investments, immediate funding to help build a safe, efficient warehouse that can handle the growing demand for food assistance. Instead of solving the actual problem, we need to make food banks bigger is what we have to do to solve this. Mayor Olivia Chow has declared food insecurity and emergency in the city of Toronto. The motion urges federal and provincial governments to enhance income support programs such as employment insurance, old age security, Toronto Works, Ontario Disability Support Program, and the Canada Disability Benefit, including indexing them to inflation. Now, all of the massive amount of social assistance programs in Canada, absolute massive amounts, where do they come from? Well, in a good economy, you had like capitalism and free market businesses and things that produced a lot of value and then paid taxes to the government. So the government steals money from productive people. And then with that productive money, you can have socialism programs like all of the former mentioned that I just talked about. Unfortunately, that doesn't work anymore because Canada is a dumpster fire. So it's not paid with taxpayer money, it's paid with inflation. So printed money. So the government prints money out of thin air. That raises the prices of everything, including food, to make food insecurity worse. So of course, the politicians and governments answer, and probably most people in Canada, their thing is, we need more money for all of the social programs and index them to inflation. So that's right. Let's print money, which is inflation, to give it to people because of the cost of living, which creates a higher cost of living. So we got to print more money to give it to the people, which is going to increase inflation, which is going to increase the prices and create more insecurity. And then we need to increase the socialism. Of course, the people like me know that this is coming, and I've done everything in my power to try to fix this, but it's whatever. It is what it is.
Okay, so again, I'll put the link in chat one more time, and you really need to watch that one too. I know I'm asking you to do a lot with this, but oh man, oh man, oh man, it's scary what's really going on, isn't it, folks? Right? Yeah, crisis creation, crisis solution. Yeah. Obvious what's going on. That's right, turning guns. Yeah, we that's why I'm doing this stream and showing this stuff and getting this out there. It's crazy. It's crazy what's going on. We are really, really in the middle of it. Okay, so again, the financial markets are stuff is happening. Stuff is happening. It's all I can say. And the next one I'm going to show is, again, I'm only going to play a couple minutes of it, but they're bringing it in from every direction, and they're doing it so fast. 2025 is not going to be a happy year at all, folks. Sorry. And I was saying to Stella earlier, I mean, it just, you know, we lost Prepper's Paradise. We've lost our ability to run the business, have our gardens, do our greenhouses, be self-sufficient, help others. And it's pissing me off. So anyway, here we go. Again, this is Rebel Capitalist, and I watch him quite a bit. I keep an eye on what's going on. Here is the link in chat. Again, I only need to play just a short bit of this for you to get the gist. Yeah, here we go.
Hello, fellow Rebel Capitals. Hope you're well. So we've got some big news today with Deutsche Bank, everybody's favorite systemic bank in the Eurodollar system. Profits dropped by a mere 92%. You heard me right, 92%. We're going to get into why and what this means about the global monetary system in just a moment. Also, could the Dow hit 100,000? I think the answer is yes, right? There are no certainties, only probabilities. So we've been talking about how DeepSeek, as an example, could be this black swan, and I've talked about the underlying fundamentals and how they're relatively unsound, but that doesn't mean that the stock market can't go higher. So today I'm going to give an argument as to why the Dow could go to 100,000. And it's not just due to hyperinflation. And then we're going to go over the GDP numbers. We're out today for the United States. So when we want to get into the nitty gritty there and determine if there's some important pieces of the puzzle that we need to put together to figure out what on earth is going to happen in this crazy world, in this crazy economy. in 2025. So let's start by getting over to what on earth is going on with everybody's favorite bank, Deutsche. Chief says nothing is off limits as profits plunge.
That's all you need to hear. Go watch it for yourself. Nothing is off limits as profits plunge. They're doing it on purpose. They're crashing on purpose. Canada is being crashed on purpose. Deutsche Bank is being crashed on purpose. The EU is being crashed on purpose. Romania is being crashed on purpose. Brazil is being crashed on purpose. Yeah, I believe the global collapse is coming to enable a new golden age, Awaken says. Yes, well, we've got to get rid of their system. And Trump is going against BRICS for now. Because honestly, I think the only way to get out of their system is to absolutely just go to something new that they can't do anything about. I'm not really covering the Ukraine war and Russia and peace deals and all that in this video, or what happened in Syria, what's going to happen again in Afghanistan, what is happening in Africa. But we're covering a bunch of stuff, and yeah. Okay, so I got one coming up that is, a lot of you probably know about this story already, but we're going to cover it again. They're hitting back. They are making sure we are good little people and we do what we're told. Here's another one. Here's the next video. There's been a murder, an assassination, and I got another short video that is telling of something else that's going on. In fact, okay, I'm gonna do this one first, because it's a short one. It's graphic. It needs to be shown, and I don't think these guys will come after me for playing it. So just really quickly, this is a robbery, and the robbers are being taken down by the cops. There's more to it than that. And I believe that police forces in Canada are stepping up and saying, okay, fuck it, we're not following the agenda. We're actually going to police our communities. There's been some firings at the levels of, people that would be watch commanders on a shift, like sergeant and that kind of thing, staff sergeant. There's been some firings in some police forces across Canada because cops are actually going out and doing their job, and the agenda doesn't like it. So we'll watch this. And again, it's a short one, but it's graphic. Here we go.
Kyle, they're out of the BMO entrance. They're walking third through the lot, garbage bags in their hands.
All right, let's get over.
3 males. One's wearing a puffy coat. All have hoods up.
Slow and low. Waiting on the side street. Northbound going U45. Cinch up. Blue, blue, blue.
Little pursuit southbound along Gorvet. Custody in a lot there. The other one is in custody under a tree near to where the Civic had parked on the south side of the building. Okay, Frankie, takedown happened. Looks like everybody's in custody.
So we're going to watch this again, and you're going to see the gunshot go off. I'll pause it.
I'm going U45. Cinch up.
See the getaway car pulls up, and they go to get in the getaway car.
Blue, blue, blue.
That's the takedown command. Watch how fast this happens. Did you see that guy? See? This guy's got a gun in his hand. Okay? Got a bag in his hand. This guy's got a bag in his hand. I'll back it up. You'll see a gunshot here. Okay? Watch really closely. We're going to cover this a couple times. The gunshot came from this car. Watch again. Hang on. I didn't go back far enough. Why? Now that, oh, hang on. Sorry, no, you know what? That was probably a flashbang. That might have been a flashbang. Now that I've seen it a couple times, it looks like it was outside the vehicle. But that guy had a gun in his hand, the first guy that was running. So why do I say there's more to this? Well, because this happened a couple days ago on the 25th. It comes down to the store that was robbed. It comes down to the I should actually pull. Oh, I already killed it, didn't I? Yeah. Watch it yourself a few times. It comes down to the store that was robbed. It comes down to who these three were, and it comes down to what the vehicle was that was picking them up. Because if you look really closely at the vehicle that was picking them up, there's something on the roof. So, pretty terrible shit. Yeah. So, anyway, there's that. So I'll go to the next one. And, again, this one's, yeah, but we'll watch it anyway. But, people had enough. And, there's people that are gaining traction. They're getting a voice, and that's not allowed. And some of them, like this guy, kind of pushed the envelope a little bit as far as I'm concerned. So you're going to see a lot more in the news about this, especially on the individual channels, because this fits their narrative to go against this too. So here we go. So yeah, it keeps going, and we're going to hear more. I'm not going to bother with this link, folks. We're going to have more in the coming days. He was murdered right in his home. He was pushing the envelope. They really don't like it when you go against their agenda. They really hate it more when you're actually one of them. They just really, 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 really don't like that. And again, Sweden, the EU, especially Sweden, England, a few other places, Great Britain, I guess. We know the Tony Robinson story and all these other things. They're really going after anyone that they can, brazenly. And so we got another one coming up here. And so shit's happening all over the world, right? And we're going to stay on Sweden. I'm going to play this one. Again, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll put the link in chat. I'll let him, get his credit where credit is due. You can go watch his channel. But shit just got real. So the one I just showed qualified for my show. Shit just got real. So does this one. And here we go, folks. So his channel is Sanity for Sweden. 5 explosions in one day, and now they ask me to excuse me, get involved. So again, here we go. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use.
Good evening. So I want to talk about Sweden because I think this is pretty hot, you see. As most of you know, I believe, we have a situation in Sweden with, for instance, explosions and rapings and shootings and killings. You see, criminal gangs, criminals doing these things, right? And you know what? It's a bit surprising, actually. But now, the police authorities, they want me to get involved in solving the problem. It's true. I will explain this to you. Okay. So last year, there was a little drop in number of shootings, I think, and explosions. Just a little drop, right? And the politicians, they were bragging about this. And the police authorities, they were so happy, you see? And then came 2025, and this month now, January, right? And so far in January, there's been 1 explosion every day, on average, right? And remember, there's like 10 million people living here in this country. 1 explosion every day. And then on, I think it was Tuesday this week, yesterday, they had 5 of them, 5 explosions on the same day, right? So now they think, oh, this is serious stuff, right? So they had a press conference, the police authorities, and the Minister of Justice was there. That's how serious it is, right? And he says, oh, this is serious stuff, right? He said, we have an exceptional 24 hours behind us with 5 explosions in one day. And by the way, these 5 explosions happened in the Stockholm area, the capital city of Sweden. The city that I left. Yeah. Right. So,
Okay. So I'm going to stop that there. Link is in chat. I want you to go to support his channel and watch his video. And we'll go from there. We've got the next one coming up, and I actually have... oh, shit. Hang on. I got an ad. I'll just let it play before I screen share. Okay. Okay, again, this is a channel that I watch a lot. This is Michael Heaver. He does daily videos. He's over in Britain. He's really covering what's going on politically in the world and especially in Europe. Doing a good job. Short videos, lots of information, getting it out there. And he's going to give you a little bit more on what that other gentleman just said. So here we go. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use. And we'll get the information. Here we go.
Report, sadly, on the huge amount of explosions you've seen across Sweden already, and the government today admitting to the horrifying reality of what's going on in Sweden. Before I get to that, though, separately, you have seen an Iraqi refugee, Salwan Mamika, who repeatedly burned the Quran. He has actually been assassinated, it seems, in Sweden, with the Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson even suggesting that potentially a foreign power could have been involved in this. It seems 5 people have already been arrested, and the prosecutor there saying we're in the very early stages. There is a lot of information gathering, 5 people detained. But look, more broadly, the Swedish government basically admitting that right now the Swedish state isn't in control. They've held a press conference, and you've seen the Conservative Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson saying that they will never accept the ruthless violence of gangs and pledging that Sweden will be safe again. But just to show you the state of the country right now, you had a Prime Minister there joined by the National Police Chief, the Justice Minister, the Director General of Customs in Sweden, following this series of explosions across the country. I mean, for goodness sake, Sweden now seeing an average of more than 1 explosion per day. Ulf Kristersson there saying we're in a new wave of violence. That much is obvious. The government looking to speed up the introduction of a law proposed to allow police to monitor the communication of children below 15. Ulf Kristersson there, the Prime Minister, saying we need to get to the people who are ordering crimes from children in Sweden, saying their violence is now affecting the rest of society, not least in southern Stockholm, where many people are wondering if there will be a blast outside their front door tomorrow. And the Justice Minister, they're also saying it's clear that more needs to be done, and that they're often criticised for going too far, too fast, but the reality is shown that they need to go further. So a horrific situation in Sweden, the government responding there. As ever, I will keep bringing you all the latest on this as we get further.
Okay. Yeah. False flags, anyone? That many bombs? They need control. They want, what they want from this is they want to be able to go to computers, even for little kids, and control, monitor. This is, you know, remember, Sweden just joined NATO. Yeah, Sweden just joined NATO. Okay, so I got another one here. And this one is a good friend of the channel, good friend of Mad Chad channel. Watching him more and more all the time now. Hey, Kim. From Australia, it's great for you. Good timing, yeah. Okay, so I'll let Roaming Prepper talk here and get it out. I think I'll probably, let's see here, just a second. No, 9 minutes. I won't play the whole thing. He did a short on this though. I could have went and found that, but I'll just let him again. We'll go for a couple minutes, and then there's the link. You go support his channel, watch him. Get this out there. Again, it's all coming down. Okay, I'm giving you all these examples. I've given you a whole bunch about Canada and the myth of Canada, Canada the illusion. We got this thing going on with Alberta. We got this thing going on with Trudeau. We got this thing going on with the first ministers. And yeah. Okay, so here we go, folks. I'll play this one. So again, fair use, YouTube, fair use. And here we go. Roaming Prepper, thank you.
Folks, question for all of you. What the hell is going on lately? Let me explain here. So we're all watching the deportations, right? They're going after felons and gang members, and they're picking up other people who are here illegally as well. Which is sad, but it's necessary. I mean, it's a freaking law, right? Because there are a lot of people that I work with who are trying to be here legally, and they're going through all sorts of loops. And we're watching all this thing play out, and that's fine, right? It's per the law. We're doing what we do like any other country. And then I get this obscure thing comes across my X feed saying that there was a bombing in Los Angeles Convention Center this last weekend. What the hell? They had fire response and everything. During the fires, there was that big convoy of cops showed up in downtown also. But this was after that. This was like already late in January. Some bicyclists or bikers, I don't know what the reference was, detonated a garbage can. But it was an explosive, like the bomb squad went there. And I was like, what the hell? Where was this in the news? Nowhere. I had to dig to find it. And now you can find it if you put LA Convention Center explosion and you put roughly January 2025, it should come up on different platforms. Well, what the hell? Then on top of that, it turns out that Air Force One's backup, right? So the president has Air Force One, right? The VP has Air Force Two. And then they have a backup plane, right? Which makes sense, right? So if Air Force One has a malfunction, they move everyone to the other plane. Now that's Air Force One. And broken one goes and gets repaired. It had to return to the airport as it was landing. It had to return to the airport as it was taking off this last week because a drone was interfering with its flight path. But here's the kicker. The drone was flying at 4,000 feet. What the hell? He was in Class B airspace. There's no way he wasn't. Why was a drone up there that high, not transmitting, didn't have its transponder on? The FAA, like if my drone is limited, I cannot fly in certain heights in certain areas. It's just restricted. But even if I did, let's say I got FAA clearance, I'm a licensed drone pilot. I get my FAA clearance and I'm like, I want to fly to 1,000 feet or whatever, and I have to get a special waiver. That's high. I can't even see my drone at 1,000. It's a little drone. I'm going to see that damn little.
Okay. So, again, make sure that the link is in chat, folks, and I want you to support his channel. Thank you for this. And again, I watched the whole thing. I want you to watch the whole thing. And I'm serious, folks. He's going to make some points here, and I'm going to make some points right now. We got to watch what's going on here. Just a second here. I'm just pulling up the next one. Okay, I don't think this is what I want. Just one sec. Oh, maybe it is. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, we're gonna cover some really interesting stuff here. Just a sec here. Let me put this. I know I put it in chat already. Here it is again. That's Roaming Prepper. Go support Roaming Prepper. Yeah, they Kim Haggerty, exactly. The Swedish government opened the doors to certain people years ago. Now they're reaping the consequences, and then one of them stands up against it, and they go after him. Of course, he was going to court for burning a Quran, and for a couple other things he said. And before he got there, that was a hit. Yeah, it was definitely a hit. Okay, so here's the next one. Again, this is another channel that I watch a lot. Canadian Patriot Press, and this is another channel that if you get into watching it, you're going to get addicted. He does a lot of 1 hour live streams and interviews and other shows, and he's really well versed, really knows his stuff, and hang on a sec, just get that in there. I'm gonna have to back up a little on this one because it's where I was just rewatching it. So when I get onto the screen share, I'll go back. And again, it's another one that I absolutely can't play the whole thing. But the title is telling enough. So the title is BRICS versus WEF exposed, the hidden war over global power. And again, hang on. It's Matt Eby. Matthew Earhart, sorry. Writes a lot of books, gives a lot of information. Okay, so they're introducing him here. I'm just going to let this play for a bit. Problem with these interviews and everything is it's really hard to find where the information is unless you watch the whole thing. But there's so much information in here. But basically, the WEF and the WHO and the World Monetary Fund, all the big cabal agencies are flipping out because of BRICS. And they're flipping out because of a lot of cryptos. And they want to use cryptos on their own and take over and to give us a cashless society. But again, just like the internet, they wanted to use that against us and it blew up in their face. Now they have to put up with this, and it's the same with cryptos. And BRICS isn't the only one out there. It's just the one you hear about. But they're doing everything they can to take down the monetary system that we're trapped in right now. So I'll let this play for a minute, and we'll go from here.
Is that British and US elites manipulate global systems through finance and culture. A frequent guest on RT and Sputnik, Eric mixes history, anti-globalism, and the defense of sovereignty. Hi, Matthew.
Hello, Clive. And hi, Anastasia.
Hello, Matthew.
Hi.
There we go.
Nice to see you with us.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Excellent. Really good to have you here. So today's talk is going to be pretty complex and full of nuances. So we'll do our best to stick to the main idea, but there'll probably be loads of extra stuff that needs to be discussed further. We decided to talk about BRICS and WF because we've been criticized for our videos. So that's what sort of spurred us a little bit. Some people have said that the BRICS are like globalism's gatekeepers, or the other side of a world government, which is what the WF is pushing for. But to us, this doesn't seem to fit with the BRICS idea of a multipolar world. While we're looking into this, we found your research, BRICS Plus versus WF, the clash of two green paradigms, which you based our video report on. So viewers can find it on our channel or in the link in the description below. But as I said, there are still a few things that aren't clear to us yet, and I'm sure a lot of you would like some reassurance on this subject too. So what's the real deal here? Are BRICS nations just playing along with the WF? Given that many leaders from BRICS nations have attended the World Economic Forum, WEF, in the past, or are they genuinely trying to build something different, especially when it comes to stuff like Agenda 2030, and who actually benefits from all this?
That's a very good starting point. I think that I understand why many people have become somewhat cynical and jaded when they look at some of the common patterns as far as associations with internationalist organizations, globalist organizations such as the World Economic Forum, that we see in both a presence of the Chinese, of the Indians, of every country pretty much, Russia, as well as Western officials. We see language which often sounds similar, a sort of a paying of adherence to sustainable development goals, which I'm sure we'll talk about today. Other language like global cooperation comes up a lot in the diplomatic language. So there's patterns that come up which cause many people to leap to the conclusion that any evidence of a fight between multipolarity or unipolarity is an illusion, a charade, and everything is in fact controlled opposition. And sincerely, that I understand where that's coming from, but this is why I wrote the article as well, was because when you look at the actual policies that have been enacted, both from the standpoint of energy, water, hydro, nuclear, advanced science, space, if you look at any of the actual policies that are animating the thinking from the standpoint of economics or the standpoint of war avoidance, diplomacy, coming out of the multipolar representative nations, I'm referring here to Russia, China, India, and the broader BRICS and growing BRICS array of allies, compared to the sort of thing that's been animating policy-wise those same things, shaping the transatlantic basket case society. There's a different universe, so that similar words will mean different things based upon concepts of whether we think that we're living in a world where depopulation must be a priority to protect nature from human life, which is what has been animating the Western calculus. As far as how we use words like sustainability, there's been an actual intention for population reduction, global enslavement behind the words, versus those same words that are animating an idea of increasing abundance, creating more space for more people to live at a higher quality of life based upon new discoveries and the application of new technologies. So these.
Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, and like it's kind of highbrow on the words, as you can tell. These are very, very highly educated people, and that's what he does. He just digs into shit, and I watch a lot of this, and there is so we've seen Putin at the WEF. We know that Pierre Polyev, went and took the young global leaders, and then he got kicked out. Recently, and again, I don't know what it is, but Chrystia Freeland, who was on the board, is no longer part of the WEF since she denounced Trudeau and started the run as trying to be the Liberal leader and the Prime Minister. And now her profile has been removed from the WEF. Now, I don't know if they did it or she did it, but Tulsi was there. Tulsi Gabbard has been there. There's a lot of these people. Now, a lot of them have gone against that. But again, we have to watch everything from every side. I actually believe right now in our current situation that BRICS, at the present time, BRICS is the best opportunity to take down the system that we need to get out of. At the same time, you have to work within the system to keep going. It's all very sketchy. Again, a lot of these world leaders are cushioned. Their families are cushioned. Their politicians are cushioned. It's we the people that are in trouble everywhere while they all play their games. Yeah. So I am going to call it there, folks. And we've covered a lot of stuff tonight. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of videos to watch. Hard-hitting stuff. And do you think, okay, so Awakened Trillium says they'll need to run the two systems side by side. I think so for 5 years, at least. They will. We're not getting out of this anytime soon. Trump's got 4 years. He's going to prop up the dollar. He's going to do what he can to defend the United States, build the economy. I think you need to build the American economy, get it really strong, get manufacturing there, redo the security thing, get the bad guys out, go through a lot of the shit that's coming your way. I honestly don't think J.D. Vance is going to be the next president after Trump. You know, a lot of times a vice president, well, of course, a vice president has to be chosen so they can be president if necessary, right? That doesn't mean they're always going to be the next one. I mean, you go back to, okay, let's just take the run. So when JFK was assassinated, Lyndon B. Johnson got sworn in right away. Well, that had to happen. Okay. When Richard Nixon got impeached and quit, he had to get out. Gerald Ford became the president. That had to happen. They tried killing Reagan many times. We know about 3 of them. When he had to leave because his 2 terms were done, Bush became the president. He got voted in. He ran and he got voted in, but that was all by design. Okay. And then by design, Clinton came in. Okay. And that was by design. And then Al Gore ran and didn't win because Bush Jr. became the president by design. Obama ran his 2 terms, and then they didn't run Joe Biden, they ran Hillary. We know what happened. So then they brought Joe back because they needed somebody they could completely control, and that's what they ended up with. So well, Awakened Trillium says something here. Yeah, so if the Brunson case comes through, Mr. T will get 8 years instead of just 4. Well, actually, he'll get 8 more years. And man, he'll be old then. Anyway, because here's the thing. And again, moves are being made for this. Okay? Remember, there's something coming up on March 4th. There's a speech coming up March 4th. There's an event. Will they do it this quick? I don't know. Will they dissolve the corporation of the United States and reinstate the original Constitution and the original Republic? If you want to see World War III, you'll see it. And again, this comes back to Canada the Illusion and what Frank Vaughan is talking about, what he's talked about in other videos. Some other things I brought up, some other things that I know that I'm not talking about yet. No, Canada is not owned by the United States. Parts of Canada and the control and the corporation is owned by a corporation which controls the monarchy. It's called the City of London. And then they have all their little words for it and everything else. All connected to the Vatican. All connected to the 13 families. If the United States becomes a republic, so Trump has already pulled out of the WHO. He's going to, and he's pulled out of the World Court, which again is another crazy corporation run by the cabal. He's talking about pulling out of the United Nations. If the republic takes over and the corporation of the United States is gone, he's no longer in NATO either. The United States is no longer in NATO because it's member states of corporations, and the republic is not a corporation. The corporation goes down, the membership is void. He can declare war on Canada, or vice versa. NATO can declare war on him. Just crazy shit. We've got a dance. They have to dance. Okay? They have to dance. They have to go to the party, play the game. So Kim wants to know, what's the procedure for a country to leave the Commonwealth? You literally just need to claim you're doing it and leave. What's best to do is have a referendum and have the people vote for it. And then you can say, hey, they asked for it, we're out of here. You also have to make public everything about the truth, which is what is in that documentary, Canada the Illusion. And Frank Vaughan knows all about this stuff too, folks. And again, we have the government, the cabal, the media. They own the military, they own the police forces, the yada, 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 yada. All the local governments, you name it, okay? So all of that has to come down. Well, the Quebec referendum, again, you'll find out if you don't know this already and you watch that show. An Albertan told the Quebec premier, hey, here's the truth. And then Trudeau #1 just gave literally a suitcase of cash. And then since then, shit tons of money in transfer payments, and Quebec just plays along because they get $12 billion a year. And they're not using their resources. They're saving all their resources. They're building power, but the power is generated by rivers of water, right? By dams. So it's a renewable resource, okay? Whereas their natural gas, still in the ground. Their coal, still in the ground. Their minerals, still in the ground. Their rare earth minerals, still in the ground. Their lumber, not being used. They're stockpiling, literally, they're stockpiling their maple syrup. Yep, true story. If Quebec left Canada and was on their own, they'd be okay. So, yeah, just like old times, Timothy. Hey, how you doing? So yeah, like I said, folks, 2.5 hours of your life you'll never get back. Please do take the time to watch. Please watch Canada the Illusion. Watch Frank Vaughn. And the Viva Fry one with the ostriches. Yeah. So I've got some tabs up that I'm getting ready for shit hit the fans. Shit just got real tomorrow, and it ties into what's going to happen, what has happened. It ties into the plane crash a little bit, but it ties more into what I just talked about with the global situation. And I've connected these dots on the COVID and all that before. I'm going to open up a can of worms tomorrow. It ties into the Ukraine war. It circles back to a lot of other shit, which subjects I've covered in the past. Yeah, so there we go. That's it, folks. Thanks for joining in. Enjoyed doing this. I'm actually going to chill out and have another scotch and relax. And I'm going to go up to my room so that Stella can get some sleep. And probably going to do a show tomorrow afternoon. It might wait till the weekend. We'll see how things go. Kind of have to play it on how I'm feeling. Yeah, we'll go from there. All right, folks. Thank you very much. Cheers.